Hey everyone, I'm Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, Kaladesh.
Hey, welcome back everyone. It's episode 61 of the Commander's Brew podcast.
Wow, that's a lot.
We've done 60 episodes.
Yeah, this is the 61st.
We're in our second minute.
Yep, yeah. If every episode is a second,
Yeah.
we're in minute 2.
We're in minute 2 of Commander's Brew.
And if every day
Is
of
year.
life is what's that thing? Like
I don't know.
if you take all of the Earth on like make that a year, then like human beings appeared on like December 31st.
Oh yeah, the thing that they did in
Neil
the
deGrasse Tyson
show.
Cosmos.
Yeah. If it was if the entire history of the Earth is a year, we appeared on the last day.
Yeah.
Like,
just showed up
midnight of the last day, or
just
11
in time
o'clock.
for the party.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Meanwhile, everyone been partying for a year.
Yeah. All them plants,
All them plants, all them extinct species.
all them rocks.
Kaladesh is here.
Yeah.
In other news, and we're pretty stoked about this set. We just did the bonus set review.
Yeah, check that out if you haven't heard that already, where we kind of go over all the cool cards from a commander point of view. But this is our regular episode.
Correct.
Traditional 2 decks on a theme.
That's
This
right.
theme, Kaladesh, $50 or less every time.
Every time. Most cards going to be under $5. Maybe an exception here and there.
Yeah.
But we'll explain why. And this is the new set. So this is what we do every time there's a new set. We'll brew around some legendaries in that new set.
Right.
And this episode happens to be Kaladesh.
And so since we're in pre-release mode, some of the prices are a little off right now.
Yes.
It is possible that some of these legendaries will drop a bunch.
Yeah.
It's possible they'll go up too. I don't know.
Very possible. So that's why we generally, at this stage, tend to ignore the price of the commander.
Right.
Just in case, there's some legendary that's like a ton of money. We started out doing this in the Origins set, I think.
Right.
We wanted to brew around the Flip Planeswalker legends. Because if you get these in your pre-release, you get in the 6 packs you're going to get to open. You might crack one of these guys, and then it's just kind of free for you. So that's our aim here, is to set you up after the pre-release and get a deck going for you.
Give you a cool commander idea.
Yeah, exactly. But before we get to all this, let's hit up our sponsor, Wizard Tower. They got a new ad for us. Let's check it out.
Oh hey everybody, it's me, a regular human from Innistrad. Remember us? We were almost destroyed by Emrakul a couple of minutes ago. I guess everyone's too busy talking about conspiracy and new vehicles and stuff. Vehicles are not new. Remember Runaway Carriage? Remember rowboats? We had them too. Nobody cared. Anyway, there's lots of great stuff here still to do at Innistrad. Why not visit the cool pawn shop? Lots of stuff for sale there. Or try not to get turned into a zombie. That's a fun task. Or sometimes what I like to do is log on to wizardtower.com, the Wizard's Tower. They give you great deals on magic cards. If you use the coupon code Tower of Brews, you get 5% off. And if you order $15 in singles or $10 in the US, you get the shipping for free. That's amazing. Plus, you get 3% kickback towards your next order. Man, everything's great here. Who cares about vehicles and energy? I got energy. Every time I eat a big bowl of gruel, I got energy to plow the field. Nobody cares, though. Anyway, talk to you later. Thanks for nothing.
Well, there you have it.
Oh, poor guy.
Poor guy.
He sounds sad.
Yeah, I would be sad too. Just generally living on Innistrad sounds sad.
Yeah, the amount of PTSD that must be there now after Emrakul didn't kill everybody.
That's true. That's a lot of PTSD for the last 2 planes we visited. Zendikar had their world almost destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least Innistrad just had a bunch of people turn into weird mutants, but even then they were kind of used to that already.
Yeah.
They got zombies and werewolves. They got people turning into stuff all the time there.
It's not entirely foreign to them.
No, not entirely foreign. That guy needs to maybe take a look around, get a little perspective. Burn on that poor guy. Okay, so before we get into action, we want to quickly mention we have a Patreon, patreon.com/commandersbrew, and you can donate to the show if you want to support that way. Also, just purchasing stuff from Wizards Tower is supporting as well.
Using that coupon code.
Tower Brews, right. We'll quickly mention our Brew and Brawl at the end of the month that we do every...
Which is Sunday.
Yes.
So if you're listening to this the week this comes out, it's coming up in a couple of days. Sunday the 25th, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. EST.
On twitch.tv/commandersbrew. And we'll brew some decks, brew a deck, I should say, with input from whoever's in the stream there with us.
Yeah, and we will brawl with people in the stream as well.
That'll be fun. Okay, let's now get to our main topic.
Dun, dun, dun. So the theme is obviously Kaladesh legendaries. The one that I am brewing around, I think is one that people got very excited about, is Dipala, Pilot Exemplar. She is the dwarven legendary creature. She's a dwarf pilot. She costs 1 red-white, so she's Boros. And she's a 3/3. People are very excited about Dipala because this is the first time we've had a dwarf legendary to lead a dwarf deck.
Is there not one dwarf legendary that's just red, though?
Well, so here's where I gotta be careful because last week for Talk Like a Pyro Rat Day, I said that there wasn't a rat commander.
Right.
And we got many tweets.
Yes.
Saying that, yes, there is Maronar.
Yeah. Yes.
Very much a rat legendary. But I still say I needed to have a red-black one.
Pyro rats meant red-black rats, right?
Right.
But did you include Maronar in your deck?
I didn't. It was expensive.
Oh, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
I didn't even know that because I was even giving you heck for it. And I was like, how did you not include this guy? He's crazy. But that makes sense. Out of budget.
Yeah, but Dipala, again, we don't know what our price is going to settle on, but it's very exciting to build a dwarf and vehicles deck. So I'm using a few vehicles in here, too, for the first time.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm reaching way back for dwarves and current.
And very current for vehicles.
Yeah, right?
That's really neat. Did you read? You read
Oh,
it.
I didn't read what she actually
yeah.
does. So other dwarves you control get +1/+1. Other vehicles you control get +1/+1 as long as it's a creature.
Sure.
Whenever Dipala Pilot Exemplar becomes tapped, you may pay X. If you do, reveal the top X cards of your library, put all dwarf and vehicle cards from among them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom in any order.
Right, so it finds your dwarves and your vehicles.
Yeah, and I did count. I have a total of 36 dwarf or vehicle cards.
That's pretty good.
So you're going to get 1 in 3.
Wow, you got 36? There's that many?
Some of them are, if you were going to build the most tuned deck possible, you might cut a few of those for like regular red cards that are better.
There's a few dwarves that don't make the cut.
Well, there's a few dwarves that are just, I mean, they all have a purpose, but some of them are not great by any means.
Right on. And I will say that, and I mentioned this in the stat review, but I want to say that I think Dipala is exciting also because this is, while it is about attacking still eventually, but it's a way to get card advantage, which is something that red and white doesn't always get. So that part is fun. That part is exciting for a Boros commander. So it's not just straight up attacking. It does benefit your attacks, and especially since vehicles are they want to attack a lot.
That's what they want to do.
Yeah, but other than that, I think this is very, very neat. And like there's a step in the right direction for Boros commanders. The deck that I brewed was centered around Rashmi, Eternity's Crafter. 2 green and blue for a 2/3 elf druid. Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card with converted mana cost less than that spell's, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast the revealed card, put it into your hand. So we had a little chat about this stuff like this yesterday, and you can cast whatever it is, despite timing restrictions. Like you don't need, if you flip an enchantment and somehow you did this at instant speed, you don't. It's not like you can't play it. You can play it.
Yes.
It specifically says you may cast it. Like that's the thing that lets you do that.
Yeah.
So Rashmi gets you that maybe possibly free spell if it comes in less than the one you cast, or just gives you a free card if it's the first spell you cast rather that turn. So she's a very interesting and like not. It doesn't seem super obvious what to do with her right away, but I think I found it.
Oh, can't wait! Can't wait.
It. Okay. So what are the game plans of these commanders?
So I'm envisioning the Dipala deck to be like, I used to love taking my Hot Wheels and crashing them into each other.
Yeah.
And just like I loved crumpled vehicles and crashes. That was my favorite thing. So we want to take these vehicles and crash them into our opponents as much as possible. We're going to make a little junkyard in our graveyard, so we want a lot of ways to bring them back out of the graveyard and put them back on the field and rev them up one more time.
Nice.
That's kind of the gist.
That's cool. Red and white would probably be decent at bringing back artifacts, right?
Yeah, not bad.
All right. Okay, that's cool. With Rashmi, it turns out if you play a lot of your cards and most of your cards at instant speed, you get a lot of card advantage. And if you cast bigger spells, often you'll get the next one for free. Although that's not super the aim of the deck, although there is some spells in here that will help that happen. So Rashmi deals well playing at instant speed, so that's our aim.
Great. Breaking them down into more specific categories, obviously I want to talk about some of the vehicles.
Let's talk about
they
some of
are
those.
the features of this deck. This is the coolest vehicle in the set right now. Sky Sovereign Console Flagship. This is 5 mana for a 6/5 legendary vehicle. It's mythic. So I'll tell you, just give you a spoiler. Right now, it's priced pretty high right now.
Really?
But I expect it to come down because it's just a pre-release mythic, right?
Sure.
I expect it to drop a bunch unless it finds a home in standard.
Okay.
So it's got flying, it's got 6/5, and it's got crew 3. So you have to tap power 3 or greater to crew it. Dipala is perfect for that.
Right.
And then when Sky Sovereign Console Flagship enters the battlefield or attacks, it deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Pretty cool.
Right. Not bad.
Yeah, just shooting lasers all over the place.
Sure.
Great. And so you're going to tap Dipala to pilot it. You're going to spend a bunch on X. You're going to get a 5/6 flying to it, or 6/5 flying to attack. It's actually be 7/6 because Dipala's on the board.
Right.
And then you'll get to draw a bunch of cards and then just keep this train rolling. Cool. Next vehicle I want to talk about is called the Aradara Express. I think it's their big like subway bus. So it's 5
Subway bus.
Well, it looks like a subway.
It's a train though, not a bus.
Okay,
right?
train, but like it's not on rails for us. We can send it wherever we want.
Okay, good call.
5 for an 8/6 menace. Crew 4. So
Yep.
it takes you 4 power worth of tapped creatures to crew it, but an 8/6 menace is nothing to sneeze at. That is a big, and again, since we don't care if our vehicles die that much, we plan on bringing them back a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Slam into it. You want to throw 2 guys away from my one? Cool. I'm going to bring them back and I'm going to do it all over again.
I do often sneeze at large things though.
That's because
What if I'm allergic to trains?
You also have nose problems.
Yeah, I do. But why can't I sneeze at this?
Because it's going to hurt you.
Oh, okay, so I shouldn't sneeze at it?
Yeah, don't sneeze at
Fair
it.
enough.
Did I say that? Is the phrase of something else?
No, I think that is a phrase. I just think it's a funny one.
Okay,
that's all.
okay. I wasn't sure if the humor was that my mistake.
No.
Okay.
The humor is simply that is nothing to sneeze at, which I've always thought is funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, when do you ever sneeze at anything? You know?
If I feel a sneeze coming,
Oh, I don't like this thing. I'll sneeze at
yeah.
it.
Hang on,
I'm going to spray it with my gross snot and spit, you know?
You got a rolled up tissue if I could tickle my nose with?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Take that. Oh, man, that guy really doesn't like that, I don't know, tree that he sneezed near. Right? That's
Yeah.
what must be what people think.
Yeah, that tree loves my carbon dioxide, though.
Oh, that's true. That is something to sneeze at.
Last vehicle, third vehicle. Cultivator's Caravan. It's a 3 mana vehicle. It's a 5/5, and it also says tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So it is just a mana rock when you're not crewing it.
Oh.
But when you are crewing it, it costs 3 power worth of creatures to crew it. And yeah, 5/5 that attacks is pretty good.
Yeah.
Good numbers.
I like that, turning your mana rock into a 5/5, which is not bad.
Yeah,
That's
that's
pretty
a
cool.
good use of a mana rock.
Interesting. But you do have to tap a 3-power creature to do it.
Yeah, which, I mean, since Dipala gives +1/+1 to all your dwarves,
Mm-hmm.
most dwarves are eligible to do this by themselves.
That's good because a lot of them are 2-power. I
Yeah.
guess, yeah. Cool. That's great. Vehicles, very interesting. Very, very interesting. We'll have to wait and see as to how good they are.
Yeah, I haven't played with them yet. I don't know.
I think in this deck, because you're saying, there's a lot of those little dwarves aren't that good. Maybe.
Yeah.
Then they're crew.
Yeah.
And now they are kind of good, right?
Yeah, they're crew with little side abilities,
Right.
right? So sometimes you can use them for other things, but mostly they're going to be crew.
That's good. Okay, let's take a look at Rashmi. So we wanted to first start off with some big dudes, because not only is that going to be kind of our win condition, but it's going to help us get some of those free spells maybe. So one of the big dudes we got is Conduit of Ruin. I love this card in Commander. I think it's a real hidden gem. And I don't know how other people feel about it, but I think it's really great. It's 6 colorless for a 5/5 Eldrazi. So, just okay so far. But when you cast Conduit of Ruin, you may search your library for a colorless creature card with converted mana cost 7 or greater, reveal it, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. So you get to Worldly Tutor for another giant, probably Eldrazi, although maybe also a giant artifact creature. It also says, because it says colorless, right?
Yeah, it has to be colorless.
The first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. So it's just going to make everything easier to cast. So
very easy.
For Rashmi, we've got a lot of big creatures. We have some big colorless creatures. So this not only finds us them, it does exactly what it says. It makes them easier to cast. And when you're casting your 7 and 8 and 9 mana creatures, it's nice to get that little bit of a discount on them. And then maybe get the next one for free. So I think Conduit of Ruin is great. And I think this goes in a lot of EDH decks. Rakdos loves this guy.
Rakdos loves this guy.
Mael loves this guy.
Yeah, Animar loves this guy.
Yeah, anything that loves colorless Eldrazi, this card is so great. Next, Pearl Lake Ancient. This is a card I've been I have, and I've never put in a deck, and because I don't think it's all that good, but I think in this deck it's worth it. So it's 5 and 2 blue for a 6/7 with flash. That is actually one of the main drawing points for this guy. One of the best things about him, because we can play him at instant speed. You don't have to play it on your turn. We can play it on an opponent's turns. We can play, maybe a brainstorm or something on our turn to get that extra card. And then later, play Pearl Lake Ancient at instant speed on your opponent's turn and
get an extra
get
card.
another card. Maybe even get it just straight to the battlefield too, right?
Yeah.
So it has flash. Pearl Lake Ancient can't be countered, which is just a nice little upside. It has prowess. Again, little upside. That's nice. And it says return 3 lands you control to their owner's hand. Return Pearl Lake Ancient to its owner's hand. So in case, if there's a board wipe come in and you've got tons of mana, or something tries to, some trick being pulled on you.
Yeah.
Where this guy's going to die, you can save him if you like.
I also feel like returning lands to your hand, 3 of them is a lot.
3 is a lot, yeah.
But, I mean, if I've got 1 or 2 cyclers in there, I'll just turn those into cards if I don't need the mana anymore. Like, if I'm at a late enough point in the game, that can be an advantage as opposed to a drawback.
Yeah, definitely. And 6/7 is nothing to sneeze at.
Shake a stick at. That's the other thing we do to things.
That's right. Ooh, you.
Achoo.
You are not. I don't respect you.
Achoo.
Achoo. So shake the stick at you.
I sneezed on this stick.
Yeah.
FYI.
Oh, wow. Huge burn if you do that. So I think Pearl Lake Ancient is pretty decent in this deck. The flash, the giant creature, the flash, I think it comes together and is nice for Rashmi. And finally, in this category of just really big dudes, this is a guy you get with your Conduit of Ruin. Artisan of Kozilek costs 9, and it's a 10/9. And when you cast Artisan of Kozilek, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And it has Annihilator too, which is always nice to have on your side of the board.
Oh, it's the worst on the other side.
It stinks on the other side.
I hate Annihilator.
Yeah, right? Annihilator sucks, but it's great when you have it. And on a 10/9 for 9 mana, it's great. If you got your Conduit, this thing only costs 7. And hopefully you get another big creature, not only from the Rashmi trigger, but perhaps from your graveyard. So this is potentially like a 3-for-1.
Yeah.
And then when you annihilate stuff, it's like a 5-for-1.
It just keeps becoming a more for 1.
Yeah, more for 1. So even in Commander, that is something to really take a look at.
Yeah.
And Artisan of Kozilek is just one of the best sort of cheap Eldrazi that are sort of out there.
Oh yeah, because it gives you something back from the graveyard just to the battlefield.
And even if it's countered, it's a cast trigger, as we now are quite familiar with through the Battle for Zendikar sets
As
and
we
stuff.
now are.
Yeah. So Artisan of Kozilek is a real horse in this deck, and yeah, it's we're happy to have it. Oh, also one of the reasons why big dudes are good in this deck is because blue green are great ramp colors. There's a lot of card draw, so you'll hit your mana on curve and everything, and then you have green just ramping for you. So you'll just be able to cast these things in time. All
Great.
right.
Okay, so we talked about some vehicles, the ones that are junkyard stars. So let's go back to the dwarves, the people who are going to be doing the piloting. This is Dwarven Recruiter.
Ooh.
This is a 2 and a red for a dwarf. It's a 2/2, obviously. When Dwarven Recruiter comes into play, I'll read the Oracle text. When Dwarven Recruiter enters the battlefield, search your library for any number of dwarf cards, reveal those cards, and put them on top in any order.
Yeah.
So if you can do this, and any mana you have left over when Dipala taps, straight becomes draw.
Wow.
Because
yeah.
you're going to only hit dwarves, so you draw them all to your hand.
Wow. This is crazy.
What this does, though, so I told you there was 36 dwarves and vehicle cards,
Yeah.
right? So if we put like 5 or 6 dwarves on top and then we draw them all with Dipala, her ability gets significantly worse. Like, you have to spend a lot of mana to maybe hit 1 or 2 once we've sucked all the dwarves out of our deck. Right?
Yeah.
It becomes an interesting balance there. Like, would you rather just get a ton of dwarves now and forget it? Probably.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't want to have to spend, like, 9 mana to get 1 or 2 things left. Because I still want the vehicles, too, right? That's still important to me.
Her thing, I just want to read her thing again. Whenever Dipala becomes tapped, you may pay X. If you do, reveal the top X cards. Okay. Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's not really a drawback.
Not at all.
Just
Not at all.
be aware.
It just helps you get to them even like faster. Like if you want to get past your lands, that's just going to help you even more. Right? Like it's kind of like if you don't find anything, then you're just getting rid of the stuff until you do get to the next one. So I think it's all kind of good.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's not as good as actually putting them in your hand and drawing them, but
yeah.
I think that initial, like, again, if you put like 5 or 6 and then you put the 5 or 6 mana into drawing them, I think that there puts you just so far ahead anyways. It's like, okay, we'll take whatever we get later.
I think you're all right.
Yeah, I think so too.
Another great dwarf, old school dwarf, Duragar Hedge Mage. This
Great
is
name.
2 and a hybrid Boros. So 3 CMC. You can pay a red or a white as part of it. When Duragar Hedge Mage enters the battlefield, if you control 2 or more mountains, you may destroy a target artifact. And if you control 2 or more planes, you may destroy a target enchantment. If you control 2 of each, you can destroy 1 of each. So this right here, this is our deck's 3 for 1.
Nice, yeah.
2 for 1? 3 for 1? I'm not sure. Yeah, great dwarf. Happens to be, and starts 2/2, so this will be a 3/3 with Dipala, able to crew most things. Because after the ETB ability, you don't need it anymore for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you just start crewing things.
3 for 1 though, right? You
3
get,
for 1?
For 1 card, you get a creature, you get to kill an artifact and kill an
You
enchantment.
count it as 1, 2, yeah.
I think so. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's like a 1 for 1 is when my card goes for your card.
Right. So like my murder kills your Duragar Hedge Mage. I used 1 card
to kill my 1 card.
to kill your 1 card.
But my 1 card killed 2 of yours. So I got 2, you got 1.
Well, isn't a Necrotal? Isn't that a 2 for 1? Yeah, that's a 2 for 1, right?
Well,
1/8/7 creatures that kill something when they come in are 2 for 1s.
But only if they also trade for a creature, right?
Well, they do, because Necrotal comes in and kills something, and
So
you get a creature from the card, right? The card is the 1.
Yeah.
What do you get after it? You get you get a kill and your own creature. So you get 2 things,
Sure.
right? And you only spent 1 card to do it.
So it is
So
like
a normal creature is a 1 for 1. A murder only kills a creature. You don't get a
1
creature
for
after
1.
it. So it's a 1 for 1.
But then does that make something like a goblin, the goblin siege gang commander, a 3 for 1?
Yes.
That doesn't seem like a 3 for 1.
You get 2. Well, I guess
3. You get
you
3
get 3 creatures from it. Yeah, it's a 3 for 1.
Wow.
Muldrifter is also a 3 for 1. You get a creature and you get to draw 2 cards.
I I think the cards are what make it the 3 for 1, and the creature is less the feature of it.
Yeah, but it still is a thing. It still affects your
I
board.
guess so.
You can't deny that you get a creature from it.
So then, mitotic slime is a
Depending.
7 for 1.
Could be, yeah. Right?
Because it gets its first one, and then the 2 2/2s, and then the 4.
But then the 1 goes away, and then you get 2.
Yeah.
And then the 2 go away.
But
and
overall,
you
you've
get 4.
had 7 creatures.
But overall, you get 7, yeah. Maybe that is a 7 for 1. Is that the only 7 for 1 in Magic's history?
But then what about, like, White Sun Zenith? Like, that's a however
That's
many
like a
for 1 you
50 for
want.
1. Yeah, it's great.
I don't know if this is how it counts.
Well, how would it not, how does it not that?
It's just no one ever refers to, it's
Yeah,
the
no.
best card in Magic, White Sun Zenith. It's an infinity for 1, right?
Yeah, but
if
the mana that you have to pump into it makes it, like, counteracts that, I guess. And
I
makes it
guess.
not the
I don't
best.
know. Like, cards in hand is like 2 for 1, and taking away your cards.
Okay, maybe this is where we're going wrong on it. So, like, a card that makes 2 1/1s isn't really a 2 for 1 because a 1/1 isn't really worth a full card, right?
Okay.
So, Raise the Alarm is really just I guess, a 1 for 1.
Well,
Unless the resulting is that you're attacking with 2, that your opponent's attacking you with 2 2/1s, and then you use your 2 little dudes to kill their 2 things, then that's a 2 for 1.
yeah, I think the way my brain wants to sort it out is like, let's assume no one has extra draws. Everyone's drawn 1 card a turn. I draw 1 card, you draw 1 card. Who has stuff left? Right? If my 1 card takes out one of your cards, that's 1 for 1, we're even.
Yes.
But if I have... So Necrotal does take out your card, so I guess I still have a card on the board, so I'm still up. But
So for 1 card slot, you got 2 effects? Is that how it works?
I took 1 card away from you with Necrotal's ETB
Yeah,
ability,
maybe that's how
but
it works.
only if Necrotal trades for another card do I get a 2 for 1 out of him. If he just chumps and dies, I didn't get 2 cards out of Necrotal.
You got a block.
I got a block.
You got
yeah.
an effect.
Yeah, so I mean, kill a creature, gain a few life.
But,
is
like,
essentially-
by the, limited resources
right.
definition, any creature that enters and kills something is a 2 for 1. And something that straight up trades for 1 card is just a 1 for 1. So the fact that there's a creature on the board, that's worth a card.
But then
So therefore, that's you getting the card's worth plus the kill. So that's 2 cards worth essentially.
so then
right?
Raise the Alarm is a 2 for 1.
Yep, sure.
But it doesn't feel right. I don't
Well,
feel
because the
like
2
I'm
guys
getting-
won't always give you a full card of value. I think that's where the controversy would come in. There's not a straight up.
And
That one can vary, right?
Necrotal also won't always give
Yes,
you...
it does because it gives you a 2/1, which is a creature that you would argue is worth a card.
Well, okay.
Right?
Okay,
a
I
one
see,
a
I
1/1
see.
token isn't maybe worth a card.
Okay.
Like I think there is debate here. Like I don't think it's
Clearly.
cut and dry.
I mean,
yeah.
we are in
You know
the
what I
middle
mean?
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't think it's cut and dry, but I think something like a Necrotal or what's the other one we love? Shriekmaw. Like
Shriekmaw.
those are 2 for 1s.
Yeah, I mean, I understand those to be 2 for 1s, but if you think about it, like, they're not really. Like, if you... I'm imagining, let's assume that there are, like... I'm just thinking draft. Let's say you got 23 non-land cards in each deck. Everyone's drawing 1 card per turn, period. If my cards all trade for your cards, we got 2 even decks. Like, every one of my card cancels out every one of your cards. Eventually, we'll get to 0 that's neutral. But what you want is, I want one of my draws to take away 2 of your cards so that I get ahead of the game, right? Card advantage.
But also board presence is a way to do that.
It is a way to do that.
To get
Yeah.
ahead because it can deal damage, it can block,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
lots
yeah.
of things it can do. It might end up being that you end up jumping with it and therefore all you got was a block, which may not be worth a full card. Then I guess your thing may not have been a 2 for 1. But
You
just the
didn't-
fact that you get a creature alone, I think is and everyone will probably say it's worth a card. Like a 2 mana, a 2 power 1 toughness even is worth roughly a card.
Okay. Because when you use a combat trick to kill a creature, that's a 1 for 1.
Yes. And if your creature died, it's a 1 for 2.
if you still use a combat trick and your guy still died, yeah,
you're down.
it's
You're
a
down
1 for
cards
2.
on that. Yeah. All right. Anyways, let's move on
Oh
because
boy, oh boy.
I think there's enough people yelling at their phones being like, "It's this. No, you're wrong."
It's an interesting debate.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a debate around certain cards. I think there is. It does become a little more easy to define with certain cards, right?
Yes, I guess my brain I want a hard and fast rule, and maybe there is not one.
Yeah, I don't think there is one. I
Yeah.
think it's going to vary a lot of the time.
I accept that.
Yeah.
Okay, last dwarf.
Still on dwarfs here. Hey, wait a
Torian
second.
Mauler.
This guy doesn't look much like a dwarf.
Well, he's a shapeshifter. He's 2 and a red. For a changeling, he counts as every creature type at all times. Also, a vehicle. No, I guess a vehicle isn't a creature type. But it's still a dwarf, and that counts for what we're doing.
Yeah.
Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Torian Mauler. Starts as a 2/2. Depala will make it a 3/3 by default, able to crew most vehicles, and then every spell that gets cast makes this capable of crewing almost anything.
And just being huge itself.
And just being huge,
eventually.
yeah. Also a good bonus.
The great thing about Torian Mauler in Commander is that obviously lots of spells are being cast by your opponents. And usually at first, when it's the most like vulnerable to things, like blocking and whatever, no one cares about it because it's a 2/2. Oh, it's a 3/3. Big deal. Oh, it's a 4/4. Who cares? And only when it gets to be like an 8/8, a 9/9, and a 10/10 are people like, oh, we should have killed that thing when it was.
We should have.
You know?
Yeah, because no one wants to spend a card.
Yeah. Exactly.
On a 2/2.
Exactly. Okay, let's move over to Rashmi again. So we got big dudes. Now let's talk about what I said earlier, playing at instant speed, right? So one of the ways to do that is to deploy counter spells, because those are the best way of getting 1-for-1s at
Oh,
instant
boy.
speed.
Oh,
But with
boy.
Rashmi, we will draw a card from them. If not, get a card straight to the battlefield, so that it will be a 2-for-1. So Draining Welk is a great card to do this with. It's a creature. It's a counter spell. It's got everything. It's 4 and 2 blue for a flash illusion creature, and it's only a 1/1. But it says when Draining Welk comes into play, counter target spell, put X +1/+1 counters on Draining Welk, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. One of my favorite counter spells, I think, really, because
This guy's awesome.
you wait around until you get something that's 5, 6, 7 mana to counter, and you'll find that in Commander quite easily. I've never had a problem with doing that. And even if you you have to counter something that's 3 or 4, it's still not the worst, right? Like a flyer that comes in as a 3/3 or a 4/4, it's not amazing, but you'll take it. Especially if it's a really bad spell you don't want people to cast. So Draining Welk is really great. Instant speed with Rashmi. The 6 mana is nice. You might be able to cast a free thing. Otherwise, you're just drawing a card with it as well. Next, at instant speed, we have Drownyard Behemoth, or Behemoth. This is the first of the emerge creatures that I put in this deck. So I put a few in here. I had more at first, and then kind of ended up taking a couple of them out for just other Eldrazi. Like I put in Artisan of Kozilek instead. I was like, I think this is just better. But the advantage you get from the emerge creatures is that a lot of them have flash, like Drownyard Behemoth. The 9 mana 5/7 with flash that has emerge for 7 and a blue. And if you probably know how emerge works, you sacrifice something and then you pay that much less colorless for its emerge cost. Drownyard Behemoth has hexproof as long as it entered the battlefield this turn. So that's okay. We're probably not going to run into something immediately wanting to kill this in Commander, so it's kind of whatever. But the fact that you can cast this for sacrificing your early mana dork, and I'm thinking specifically more like a Farhaven Elf, so a 3 mana one that got you a land. Sacrifice that. Now your emerge cost for this is 4 and a blue, so you cast a 9 mana spell for 5.
Right.
You get a 5/7, but then you can also you flip that top card, and as long as it's less than 9 mana,
right,
then you can cast it.
Yeah, because you could very easily spend 1 or 2 mana on this,
Sure,
and quote unquote cascade into an 8 mana spell.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
That is really awesome.
Oh man, emerge is great.
So emerge is really good, and I took a few of them out because some of the emerge costs were like, the effects just weren't good enough. And it's like, well, am I putting a sort of bad card in to just maybe get a free spell like in addition to it? But then like, why didn't I just put a good spell in and then also get the same thing? Just have to pay a little more for it. So
you want a free spell or a good spell?
Right. So basically, I left the flash ones in because flash is good enough that it makes a difference in this deck. So Drownyard Behemoth is pretty solid. Also works as a great blocker, right? And a surprise 5/7. Can't argue with that. Finally, also in instant speed, we have a great counter spell in blue green. Plasm Capture. It's 2 green and 2 blue for an instant. It says counter target spell. At the beginning of your next pre-combat main phase, add X mana to your... in any combination of colors to your mana pool, where X is that spell's converted mana cost.
Wow.
Yeah, so I actually didn't fully read this. I thought it was you just get the colorless mana, but you actually get it in whatever colors you want.
Yeah.
Which is even better.
I think this is an underrated counterspell.
I think so too. Especially in a deck that, every commander deck wants to spend a lot of mana, so really it's never bad. But in ones where you have large, creatures, that it'd be nice to get your large creature out after playing a Plasm Capture. So you play your Pearl Lake Ancient. Actually, that's a bad example because that one has flash. One that doesn't have flash played on your turn, then save your actual mana for the one you want to play on your opponent's turn, and then get even more cards from that with Rashmi. So yeah, Plasm Capture is real good in this deck.
Ooh, it's going to be hard not to call it Plasma Capture.
I kept typing it as Plasma Capture, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Look, can we also, I only just realized Duergar Hedge Mage is not Duergar Hedge Maze.
You did right. Duergar Hedge Maze. Yes, you did. I just also saw that.
Yeah, I kept thinking as Hedge Maze. I'm like, I guess a person can't be a Hedge Maze.
That's why it's a ridiculous name. He's a Hedge Mage. Yeah, right, man. Find your way through this guy, this Hedge Mage. Anyways.
Cool. So let's fix up those wrecks. The oval chase is pumping with the fumes of vehicles or the aether or whatever, and we're crashing them left, right, and center. There's bits of metal and bumpers and doors everywhere. We got to clean them up, put them back together, get them back on the raceway.
Get them out of that junkyard.
Salvage Scout's going to do that. 1 white for a human scout, one of the few non-dwarven creatures in here. But 1 white, sacrifice Salvage Scout, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Not a great card to do that, but there isn't many repeatable ways to do this, unfortunately. We got to spend that are within budget. There's a couple of pricey ones that can do it. But,
sure, yeah.
Great. But let's talk about Remember the Fallen. This is a more efficient, I suppose, because it's 2 and a white for a sorcery. Choose one or both. We want both. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and or return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So there you go. Get 2 cards back for 1, 2 for 1.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to get a vehicle back with this too. Put the vehicle back, and as well, we might as well throw another dwarf down, get another pilot for that thing.
Sure.
I love it. And then this one might be my favorite one. This is Open the Vaults, 4 white sorcery. Return all artifact and enchantment cards from all graveyards to the battlefield under their owner's control. This might help other players pretty good, but I love the idea of just like opening your garage door and a whole bunch of vehicles just show up.
Yeah.
And then it's like the engine's revving and you're like, all right, time to go.
It's like, it's like that. I guess it's like in Gone in 60 Seconds, that old movie where they open up their garage doors and see all the cars. I don't know.
I think that's a very cool thing.
You know what this reminds me of? Not anything to do with what you're talking about or what this show is. Remember those interviews Weird Al used to do with people when he would take over MTV and in Canada and Much Music?
Yeah, and he would do different questions to their answers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's one where he's interviewing Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones, and he goes, Keith, what do you like to do when you go to the zoo? And then Keith Richards just sits there, and it's footage from a real interview that he did with someone else, obviously. And he just goes, open the cage, let the animals out. He's like, oh, wow, Keith, I'm not sure you're allowed to. And it's like, open the cage, let them out. And he just says it so weird. It's like, oh, wow, that's very funny. Open the vaults, let the artifacts out.
Yeah,
that's what I think of every time I see this card.
Oh, wow. This is a great little bit of insight to how brains work. We all have those very specific memories. How on earth do you remember that of everything? I bet you it's crystal in your brain too.
Crystal. Yeah. Love that interview.
Yeah.
Love Weird Al.
Yeah, Weird Al's great.
Okay, that's the last one in
That's the last one in your fixing up those wrecks.
Fix up those wrecks. Okay, the last one for us for Rashmi is, so obviously, like I said, she's a great card advantage engine, And you want to try and get those free spells if you can. So why not manipulate your deck a little bit and see if we can make sure that the next card we flip when we cast that spell is going to be something we can cast.
You greedy.
So deck manipulation, this one's called. And 2 cards right off the bat that I think anyone would think of for this is Future Sight, which is 2 and 3 blue for an enchantment that says play with the top card of your library revealed. You may play the top card of your library. So this is great. This is like extends your hand to the top of your library. So there's that. And also it just lets you see that you're going to get a free card, which is nice.
Oh, so it lets you know, like, oh, there's a 4 drop on top.
Exactly.
I only need to play a 5.
Exactly.
Ah.
And then very similar to that is Magus of the Future, which is 2 and 3 blue for a creature that has the same ability. He's
Cool.
a 2/3. Obviously, the Maguses are really awesome. We love those in Commander. They're often very much cheaper than the original versions, but in this case, they're both right in budget, so that's great.
Yeah, the in this case, it's reversed.
Yeah, that's right. The Magus is a little bit more, isn't
Yeah.
Next, under deck manipulation, one of my favorites, Crystal Ball.
I love it.
It's 3 mana for an artifact that says pay 1 generic, tap it, scry 2. This card gets a lot of like hate. And maybe,
what do you mean?
Maybe hate isn't the right word, but it gets like crapped on a lot because people love their Sensei's Divining Top, and then everyone always talks about guys like us will be like, oh, this is a fine substitute for a more expensive card like that. And some people are like, that card sucks. Like, you got to get your Divining Tops. Like, you got to get, whatever else it is, your scroll racks. Like, those are Crystal Ball's no substitute for those things. And I just think you're wrong. I just think Crystal Ball is a totally fine substitute for those things. Scry 2 is a big deal, and obviously those other cards are very good and definitely better, but this does a pretty good impression of those things.
Yeah.
I really do. I really think it's like very, very good, and like more than half as I don't know. It's like if this is half the card that Sensei's Divining Top is, I think I'm pretty happy with that, and I think that is what it is.
Well, I don't run any Divining Tops, but correct me if I'm wrong, that Divining Top doesn't actually dig. Like, once you see those top 2 or 3, you're just playing around with the same 2 or 3 cards, right?
Well, you look at the top 3,
yeah,
and then
You
the next
rearrange
turn
them.
you get a new one to look at, and the next turn
Yeah.
you get a new one to look at. So you can always bring that third one, and you're right. It's like it's not exactly, but like you can fix it so that okay, well these 2 are lands and a very expensive spell, so I'll keep moving those to the bottom and keep drawing the new one. So you just make sure that you get what you want, though.
Yeah, so eventually you've just basically said that, like, over time you've sifted 2 mediocre cards to the top, and you're always putting the third card above those 2.
Right.
Oh, third card above those 2. So now you're not even scrying. You're just drawing the next card, but skipping the first 2 every time.
Yeah.
It's now... there's the thing where you can return it to your hand and draw an extra card. Yeah, that's the thing.
You put it on top of your library and draw a
On
card.
top of your library, right. But at least, like, Crystal Ball lets you, like, I don't want this, go to the bottom. No other, like, you have to scry to do that.
Yeah.
Scroll Rack doesn't do that either.
Yeah, that's true.
You can dump cards you don't want.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great.
I do too.
You can only do this, once a turn because it has a tap.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a downside because even if you had your top and then you used it, you looked at the top 3 cards, and then like you're like, okay, shuffle effect and do it again. Like you can do that.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Crystal Ball, you can't really do that. So like I do think it's not as good, but I definitely think it does a great impression and is very good.
Yeah.
There's even an argument to maybe you put this in every deck.
Much love for Crystal Ball.
Right? Like, I think there may be a slot for that.
Much love.
Much love. And finally, for deck manipulation, Garrick's Horde. 5 and 2 green for a 7/7 with trample. Play with the top card of your library revealed, and you may cast the top card of your library if it's a creature card.
Wow.
So this is really good. Not only is it going to perhaps trigger you to get a free creature to your battlefield, you will now from here on out be able to see, like we said with Future Sight, you'll be able to see what's coming and plan accordingly.
Rashmi Amadeus. This is great.
Rush me Amadeus, rush me Amadeus. Da, 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 da. Yeah, Garrick's Horde. That's the song it sings when it comes in. All these weird beasts. I love how it's one beast, but it's Garrick's Horde. Like creature beast.
Oh yeah, it should be.
But it's like 9 beasts, really. Like it's huge.
Yeah, they never pluralize those
Yeah.
lines. Like when it's 2 legendary people,
Yeah.
it's like a human.
Human.
But it's like there's 2 humans there.
There's 2 there. Let's get our pronouns right.
Yeah, they could just say like plural counts as single. They're the same.
Whatever.
Anyway, who cares?
Who cares? Those are the decks.
Those are the decks.
Those are the main categories of the decks. There's lots of stuff going on. Go to tappedout.net/user/commandersbrew to see the full ones. But if you want to know what the real highlights are, we'll tell you right now because it's the Commander's Brew 3 stars of the deck.
Do, 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 do.
Oh, new.
Imagine a twinkly star.
Do-do-do-do.
Cool. So DePaula's 3 stars of the deck. I'm going to go with number 3, Nahiri's Machinations. There is nothing better than having an indestructible car in a destruction derby.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
So I'm going to give one of my vehicles indestructible and just ram it in there.
Nice.
And I can do extra damage to the blockers if that is a thing I want to do.
Right?
Love that card. 3rd star of the deck. 2nd star of the deck, Trading Post. I alluded to it was tough to find recurable artifact recursion. This is a way to do it. We all know that Trading Post is the planeswalker
It's
of
the artifact
artifacts.
planeswalker, yeah.
So it's got 4 colorless mana for generic to cast, and then each ability is 1 generic and a tap. You can discard a card to gain 4 life. You can pay 1 life to put a 0/1 white goat creature token on the battlefield. You can sacrifice a creature, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. That's the main one we're after. But we can also sacrifice an artifact to draw a card. That's something we might also be interested in.
Very good.
But yeah, ability number 3, get those artifacts, aka vehicles, back in our hands at the cost of goats.
It's like Bun's Trading Post.
Yeah.
Toronto people, I guess, only get that. Anyways.
Okay, and then the number 1 star of the deck I'm going to say is a Mimic Vat. This is the garage, right? Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully, if one of your vehicles gets destroyed, you take it to the garage, aka the vat, and you can just keep making them.
Does it? Don't they have to be crewed to become creatures?
Well, you crew it. Okay, so you crew it, and it becomes a non-token creature card. It is a creature card as well as an artifact card while it is crewed. I go into combat, and it dies. Mimic Vat sees a creature card dying, so I can put that under the Mimic Vat. And then it says 3 tap, put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of the exiled card. The card, while it's exiled, is no longer a creature, but Mimic Vat don't care once it's under.
Right.
So I puts a copy down, so I will have to recrew it. As I said, this is just the garage.
Right.
It just rebuilds the vehicle, and then people got to climb in it and drive it into your face again.
Cool. Yeah, that's a neat little way to work it. That's great.
Yeah.
Mimic Vat's just a great card.
It's so
Right?
great.
It's so good.
It's so good.
very, very good.
Yeah.
I mean, creatures are dying.
Creatures
this-
are dying, everybody.
Yeah.
And we need to stop it.
Like the thing is like the best thing about Mimic Vat is that it doesn't need to be your creatures.
Oh man, it's so crazy that it's free to activate. Like it just happens.
You mean it's free to imprint?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, that died, cool, it's under here. Something better dies, now it's under. Something
Yeah.
better dies, now it's under.
And you like sometimes just like the added weird little upside of keeping like a really great creature out of someone's graveyard sometimes is just
That is
enough.
possible,
you know?
yeah.
Keep that Grey Merchant out of that Chainer deck's graveyard. Like
Yeah.
that's their win condition. That's
Yeah.
great. So yeah, that can be very, very good. All right, Rashmi's 3 stars of the deck. Number 3, Zendikar Resurgent. 5, 2 green for an enchantment that says when you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana to your mana pool of that type that land produced, and whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. It just kind of does more of what you want to do. Like it just doubles the more that you're doing. So we obviously want to cast a lot of our big creatures. We obviously want to keep a lot of mana up to do it at instant speed on other people's turns.
Yeah.
And we're very into drawing cards.
I'm
which
into that.
Rashmi also does. So Zendikar Resurgent just is the most helpful thing in this deck. It's very, very good. Number 3 star for sure. Number 2 star, Jace's Sanctum. 3 and a blue for an enchantment that says instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. There are a fair amount of instant and sorcery cards in this deck. We're talking counter spells. We're talking deck manipulation, some like things. So this is very helpful with that. Again, this helps with leaving your mana up because you don't have to spend as much. And it says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. So on top of drawing the card when you play your counter spells, Jace's Sanctum will let you pick if you want that top card or not.
Yeah.
Because you scry 1 before you do the thing. So.
Oh yeah.
So you get to look at it and be like, do I want this one? Maybe I want this, thing that will be free instead.
Yeah, you stack the triggers so that you scry before Rashmi does her thing.
Exactly.
Cool.
So it's a very neat card and works out very, very
yeah.
well. Doesn't require much for it to be good either. And the number 1 star is Yiva, Nature's Herald. So Yiva is 2 and 2 green for a 4/4 legendary elf shaman. She has flash, which is great. And she says you may cast green creature spells as though they had flash. Now, I had Vidalcan Ori in here at first, and it obviously was an all-star because you want to play everything in instant speed. Unfortunately, the budget of it, in order to get it down to 50, I had to take it out. I wrestled so much with it. And, if you want to build this deck, I would suggest putting in Vidalcan Ori. I would suggest spending the extra, I think I was $3 over or something. So whatever, just do it because it's worth it. But for the purpose of the show, we're not going over 50, so I had to cut it. Yiva, Nature's Herald, does a fantastic impression of Vidalcan Ori when it comes to creatures, and this is a creature-heavy deck. And I looked at it and I was like, I didn't realize it was only green creatures at first. So I was like, oh man, am I gonna have to retool this whole deck now? But almost all my creatures were green anyways.
Oh, cool.
I counted it. There's something like 32 creatures or something, or 31 creatures. There's only 4. Okay, there's 6 or 7 that aren't green, but 2 or 3 of those already have flash.
Right.
So this only doesn't hit 4 creatures in the deck. So
that's great.
So that's pretty good. We'll take it.
We will.
And she's great, and she's very good. And again, she has flash herself, which is nice.
I like that.
So there you go. Play those on other people's turns. Get even more cards in addition to the one you get on your turn. It's great.
Yeah.
Everything at flash with Rashmi. Like
I
I said
like
in the
that
set review,
deck.
it reminds me of the Afara deck that you might want to build, right? Where you play things, you try to play flash creatures on other people's turns to get those extra card
Yeah.
draws.
Cool.
Very, very similar.
Oh, very cool. That sounds like a really cool deck. I'm excited to brew that one. I want to play
yeah,
that one.
Me too.
I feel like the Dipala deck needs Aether Revolt. I want a few more dwarves and a few more vehicles. I think under the new design philosophy, right?
Right.
Some of those old dwarves, I didn't go into them in detail, but there's a couple of dwarves who tap 2 to give a dwarf +1/+0. It's that's not great.
Yeah, that's not great.
Right? There's a couple dwarves in there that are there because they're dwarves that probably aren't holding their weight.
Sure. I will say I am surprised that there were that many though.
There's enough. I could have done no vehicles, right? I could it's possible,
Really?
but then you got to do some 1/1 dwarves that are just dwarves.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It's
Those are-
possible.
So you didn't include those though.
I did not include
Oh,
those.
wow,
every
that's great.
dwarf does something, even if it's not a lot.
Not bad.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Get your dwarf tribal decks rolling.
Yeah, I feel so. So Dipala is fun, but I think she's going to be really fun next set. I think we'll get a few more vehicles in there, a few more dwarves. She's going to be humming.
Really? Oh man, I can't wait. Okay, so before we get to our next segment, we got to talk about wizardtower.com.
Got to talk about them.
They're the sponsors of the show. You can go to their website and use our coupon code, which is Tower of Brews, to get 5% off your order of singles of $15 or more, I believe.
In Canada.
Canada.
Oh, yeah. $15 is the coupon code
Yeah.
level.
Then you get free shipping in Canada for singles on $15 or more, or in the States, $10 or more, because they do have a U.S. store. And you get 3% on your next order when you make any order,
Yeah.
which is great. I often will find myself placing an order and then looking at the breakdown of the bill, and then I'm like, oh, I had $3 store credit, so that's just a free card,
Yeah.
or 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So that's awesome. Always, that's
Always
always so
awesome.
good. I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Just out of nowhere. So that's very cool. They got a cool create a token promotion on right now. You can design your own token and win. I think it's a box of Kaladesh or whatever.
That's
Very
a
cool.
great prize.
Yeah, and if you're in the Ottawa area, go by and say hi. Stop by. Tell Dave we sent you, and that he should give you chocolate bars.
I mean, that's not officially part of the sponsorship.
Not at all. Not at all.
We cannot claim you will get chocolate
You
by
might
going to
not.
Wizard Tower.
I think they have snacks there.
I don't remember.
I feel like I saw snacks when I went in.
I was there a while ago.
Yeah, me too. We have both been there. That's something cool.
Separately, yeah.
Yeah, it's not in our. It's not even really close to us. It's like 5-hour drive away from here.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't just drive there.
No. Me neither. I took the train actually.
Day trip to Wizard Tower.
Yeah, I mean that would been. We should do that.
We could do that.
Yeah, we definitely
Find a
should
place
do
to
that.
stay in Ottawa.
My wife's family.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? No problem.
Yeah.
Maybe we should really do that. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
We
That
should
would
do
be
that.
fun.
We'll talk to the gang at Wizard Tower and hook it up. Maybe put it on. Maybe film it or something. That'd be fun.
Cool. I also want to give a shout out to one of our Twitter followers
Great.
because speaking of create a token, the Wizard Tower thing, one of our listeners at Natty Cat has been doing like fun tokens. Every now and then we'll like mention cards and just like joke around about stuff. But at Natty Cat has been like mocking up the cards.
Yeah.
And I guess like, we kind of made fun of Doomblade a while ago of just like kill a guy, right?
Yeah, one
So-
card, kill a guy.
Yeah, so she made that card and just like sent it up there. So like, thank you, Natty Cat. Keep it up. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's the Doomblade art. If you haven't seen it, it's the Doomblade card, but the title is Kill a Guy. It's one in a black, and it says Kill Target Non-Black Guy. Right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Real funny.
That's
real
what
funny.
Doomblade is. Kill a guy.
That's what Doomblade is. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for that. Always love interacting with the people, right? So.
Oh man, the folks that listen to the show are just always the greatest. On Twitter, we have a real laugh, and in those Brew Brawls, it's all a lot of fun.
Oh man, check out the Brew Brawl. Even if you're not on MTGO on this Sunday, check out the Brew Brawl. Just pop into the room
chat there, yeah.
for a couple minutes and just see how much fun we're having. You can because we joke around a bunch anyway.
Yeah.
Even when we're not playing in the MTGO client.
Right. Exactly.
It's not
Yeah.
just business.
And you don't need to stay for the whole thing. I mean, the entire length of the thing is like 3 hours, but just pop in for 10, 20 minutes or whatever. And
Yeah,
just
whatever.
say hey. That'd be great. Okay, let's get to the budget report.
This is where we take all of the cards. We rev them in an 8-cylinder engine and see which one has the synthetic oil that makes the engine run longer, or which one seizes up and stops.
The Valvoline budget report. Brought to you by Valvoline synthetic oils. Put it in your car.
Put it in your card.
Put it on your cards.
Yeah. And whichever ones are slicked to non-recognition are out.
And
the
they
ones
didn't make it.
The ones that we can still read are in.
That is right.
Yeah, okay, cool. So the deck that I brewed, the Depala deck, is coming in at $44.60. This is not counting Depala, but this is counting a couple of the vehicles, which are costed at quite highly right now.
Really? Now, did you count? Sorry, what is the price of Depala? Do you know?
Not offhand. Let's check it out.
Okay, let's take a look. Depala Pilot Exemplar.
Pilot Exemplar. That's her subtitle.
So we'll give you a quick U.S. price breakdown.
Do you have to scroll to the right, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, so Depala's like under $1.
Depala's under $1, so that should be easy. But
so included in there, and you've got $45.
$45. But the two most expensive cards are new vehicles, and those costs could go crazy. Most expensive card right now is the Sky Sovereign Console Flagship. This is the big flying vehicle that does 3 damage whenever you attack with it. Wait, did I skip it?
I think maybe you did.
I might have skipped it. Did I skip all of it?
I don't know. Where's that card go?
Well, it's there earlier anyway.
I think you just put the wrong one in.
Huh.
You skipped all
I
yours.
skipped this section.
Oh no, we didn't do this.
Oh,
We're
we
dumb.
didn't do that.
We skipped to the budget report. That was my fault. I went right to the Wizard's Tower and budget report part.
The Valvoline budget report will be on hold while we go back to the surprises and discoveries.
Surprises and discoveries. The Discovery Channel presents surprises and discoveries.
Yeah, brought to you by Discovery. Check out Animal Planet.
Discover your life. Okay, Sean, what's yours?
Okay.
The YouTube viewers know.
Here is a dwarf card that I don't think is great, but this is a surprisingly fun card. I think it's cute. It's 3 and a red for a 1/1 dwarf. That sucks. But you can tap it to put a fuse counter on target creature.
A fuse counter,
Yep.
you say?
This is called Bomb Squad. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a fuse counter on each creature with a fuse counter on it.
Okay.
Whenever a creature has 4 or more fuse counters on it, remove all the fuse counters, destroy it. The creature deals 4 damage to its controller.
Oh.
So it just keeps lighting things on fire, and eventually they explode.
Oh, that's kind of neat.
It's kind of neat. I mean, that's very impractical. Like no one
Very
would-
slow.
It'll never last long enough. But it is kind of neat that once you tag someone with a fuse, they're gonna blow up.
Unless you kill Bomb Squad. Because Bomb Squad is the only thing that's at putting it on at the beginning of the upkeep.
Oh, that's right.
So all you have to do is kill Bomb Squad and those fuses are dead.
Yeah, you're right.
But if you got a way to bring it back, I mean, it can be a real threat. Like if this could go in a deck where it's like, I don't know, some tapping, untapping deck, and perhaps something with a little bit of recursion in there. Just
Yeah,
in
if I
case.
had some proliferate stuff, I might consider it.
It seems a bit slow, but still, I could see this being
It's
fun
interesting.
to use. Yeah,
It's
it
an
is for
interesting
sure.
dwarf I never would have thought of otherwise.
For me, one card I discovered is Soothsaying. I might have used this card before. I'm not sure, but it seemed new to me. It's 1 blue for an enchantment that says 3 and 2 blue, shuffle your library. Okay, interesting. But then it says pay X, look at the top X cards of your library, and put them back in any order. So for Rashmi, you can really, even if you just look at the top 2, basically, you can move them around. It's kind of like a Sensei's Divining Top.
Yeah. And then you can, although I think this
Way
is
more mana intensive, obviously.
Well, I like this better because you can go deeper. The problem with Divining Top is after a few uses, you're like, I'm tired of these 3 cards. Like, it never changes, right?
Well, it does change. You get 1 new one.
Well, 1 new one, but
Yeah.
like, who I don't want it for 1 new one. Like,
Well, this way you get a lot of new ones. So, I'm not sure how great it is. I think it's worth it in this deck because it does produce a lot of mana. So paying the extra X you might have, at the end of your opponent's turn might be just fine. Shuffling your library could also be great if you've run into a lot of lands in a row and you don't want them. Shuffle effects can be very good.
Here's my question, Wizards of the Coast design and development team. Where's my blue X, Scry X instant?
Oh,
Why not that?
that's interesting.
That's so simple. Why do we not have that yet?
Is it any good?
I'd run it.
Pay 4 and a blue and scry 4. Is that worth a card?
Instant speed. I got mana.
Probably.
I got mana up at the end of your turn. I can
Why can't just make this card though? Make it an enchantment. Make it X. Scry X.
I think if it was repeatable, that would be too crazy because you could just never draw, always draw awesome stuff forever.
Yeah.
But if it's a one shot, right? If I can
Always draw awesome stuff forever. I'm gonna get that tattoo.
always draw, awesome
Always
stuff.
draw awesome stuff forever.
It's and then you I guess maybe you got the tattoo and you're on adrenaline, but then you kind of come to and you realize no, that's what I told the guy to do. I wanted him to always draw awesome
always
stuff.
draw awesome stuff on other people and me. Instead, he just wrote the words out.
It's like when those bad birthday cakes where it says please write.
Please write to Jen.
Yeah, but it's all 4 words.
Yeah. Or
Please.
the one that was it's the place that prints out images.
Yeah.
But it's just the image URL
Yeah,
written out. Oh, you guys, come on.
Yeah.
Put it together.
I
So
love it.
Soothsaying, I think is decent in this deck and could have a use in some other things. I'm not sure. But it was a neat one to find. And Into the Wilds is another card. It's 3 and a green for an enchantment that says at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you put it in your battlefield.
How did I miss this in M14? I totally forgot about this card.
I drafted so many of these in M14 and didn't really want to. I just did. I have 3 of them. They're very good. These smooth out your draws a lot. They make, especially in these types of decks where it's we don't want our lands on top. So
If you got a bit of scrying.
exactly, you can put your land on top and then you get it straight into the battlefield with Into the
Boop-de-boop.
Wilds. And it doesn't count as your land drop for the turn, which is great. I knew about this card. Obviously, this isn't something I discovered, but I thought it was worth mentioning that this card is surprisingly good in any kind of deck where you want to manipulate the top of your deck. So
Yeah.
Into the Wilds is great. It's half of maybe it's a third of a Oracle of Moldiah, sort of.
Yeah.
right? Sort of.
Yeah.
Anyways, now let's get to the budget report.
Valvoline's
budget report.
Okay. Yes. Most expensive card in DePaula's deck, which is already under $50, is Sovereign Council Flagship. This is the legendary 6/5 vehicle. It is currently, according to the pricing we did, it was over $5. I think it was
It's
like
$7.50.
$7.50, depending on where you go to pre-order this thing. But you have to pre-order it, right? It's a mythic. Mythics are always expensive on pre-order. It will probably come down once there's a bit of supply out there.
I don't see this card staying at $7.50.
No, certainly
I
not.
don't think it's that good.
Yeah, certainly not. The next card I think is expensive because of the possibility of standard. This is Smuggler's Copter. It's 2 mana for a flying 3/3 that crews for 1, and whenever it attacks or blocks, you can draw a card. If you do, discard a card. I think people are just very excited for how much of a beating this can give in the standard format. Like, turn 2, drop this thing. Turn 3, you're going nuts.
Turn 1 play some 1-drop that isn't even good.
Or even, but you don't even have to. Like summoning sick creatures can crew vehicles.
That's true.
Because the crew, like the vehicle, is what's telling the creature to tap. The creature doesn't have the tap ability on it.
Right.
Yeah. So you can just drop anything after you've dropped this, or drop another Smuggler's Copter and tap your 1/1 from turn 1.
Good to know, yeah.
Yeah, right? And then the next most expensive card, which is sort of like a real card, is a Dwarven Recruiter. This one's going for about $3.50, $4. And I think this is the one that lets you search for dwarves and put them on top of the deck. It's probably... I haven't looked at a graph, but I bet you this spiked because DePaul is now a thing.
Probably, yeah.
This was probably a nickel before DePaul came around.
Yeah. 'Cause who's making Dwarf Tribal before that happened?
Yeah, man. 1 gumball, no problem. Now it's like a handful.
And I kind of don't think Dwarf Tribal will be a very popular archetype. So I think this will probably go back down.
Yeah, so if you knock all those cards down like a few bucks, I think this deck comes in at like 35.
Wow. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Rashmi, like I said, I had it over. I had to cut that Vidalcan Orrery, which hurt
Shame.
quite a bit. But we did get it in under $50. We got $48.40. We that's not including Rashmi, which I think is about $5 or $6 right now, pre-order. Same thing. I don't think she's going to stay at that price. I just don't. I don't think it's going to be a standard playable card, and I don't think. And I don't think Commander's enough to prop it up that much, considering how much people are going to be opening. It's a new set; it's going to be opened even more.
Oh, because of those
going forward,
masterpieces.
All kinds of stuff. So
people gonna
it's going to drop.
Up.
It's going to drop down for sure. But the number 1 most expensive card in the deck was Draining Welk. The 6-mana 1/1 flash flyer that comes in and gets the counters if you counter something. $3, around $3.50, just over $3. I think it's worth it though. It's a very, very good card.
It's excellent.
I love it. So I'm definitely keeping it in the deck, and I'm definitely trying to pick. Like, hopefully, I already have a few of these, so I'm happy. I managed to get them when they were not expensive at all. Now they're $3 somehow. So, anyways, grab a couple if you don't have any. Next is Courser of Crewfix. 1/2 green for the 2/4 enchantment creature that says play with the top card of your library revealed. So that's great. Deck manipulation.
Yeah.
And you may play the top card of your library if it's a land card. So it's kind of like Into the Wild a little bit. And it's whenever a land enters the battlefield, you gain a life. This card's great and has like sort of maintained not quite its original price when it was in standard, but like hasn't dropped as much, I think, as people thought, because this is a legit good card for Commander. It's $3.30. I think you keep it.
Fair.
I wish it was cheaper, though. You know,
I think because people are using this as a second-rate Oracle of Moldiah.
Yeah.
Oracle of Moldiah is way too expensive, so people will take this, but then this becomes the next best thing, and this starts to climb. It's your classic Dictate of Erebos thing.
Yep.
Right?
That's true.
When the main one is a bit too expensive, people start being like, "Oh, I'll buy this one's worth
one's
it
fine,
for
yeah.
$1.
Yeah.
It's worth it for $2. It's worth it for $3."
And then they keep going. So
Yeah.
the next one after that was Soul Ring at like just under $3, but we don't count Soul Ring in this just because we kind of assume everyone has one, and whatever. You don't need to buy another one. So the other one is Thunderfoot Baloth. 4 and 2 green. This card is one of the most underrated cards in Commander, I think.
Yeah, probably.
4, and it does talk about cards doing impressions of other cards. This does a decent impression. Not quite as good, obviously, as of like a Craterhoof Behemoth, though. It's 4 and 2 green for a 5/5 that tramples and says, Lieutenant, as long as you control your commander, Thunderfoot Baloth gets +2/+2, and other creatures you control get +2/+2 and have trample. So it gives everything trample and +2/+2. So in a deck, whether it's big creatures you want to give trample to, or it's swarmed tiny creatures that you want to pump and give trample to, this card is fantastic. It's one of my favorite trample enablers, because it itself essentially will be a 7/7 trample as long as you have your commander out, which we all know is not super hard. You have constant access to that card.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Thunderfoot Baloth is just great, and it's $1.67, so it's still not much. Although it is climbing, I believe. I think this was around $1 for a long time, and now I guess it's sort of getting up there. Not much though. It's still pretty cheap for the effect you get. So
and if
it's
you
great.
have your Yeva out, you can attack with a bunch of stuff, and they'll be like, "Oh, whatever. I'll just block a couple of these. Cool." And they'll be like, "By the way, Flash and Thunderfoot, everybody trample +2/+2." It's like a Flash overrun.
Yeah. Wow. It is kind of like that.
If Yeva's around.
That's a 3-card thing, but it's a powerful one. Thunderfoot Baloth is great, and it deserves to be in more decks, especially budget decks.
Yeah.
Those are the ones then. That's it.
Ooh.
Kaladesh, what do you feel? How you feel about Kaladesh for Commander?
I think it's cool. I don't think we got any like super unique mechanics that are gonna like warp Commander, but there's a lot of cool cards in it, I think, that, as you saw in our set review episode, right? Like, I'm excited to put a lot of stuff like that. I'm honestly most excited to draft it, right?
Yeah.
I think the Dipala Vehicles deck is a fun idea, and it speaks to my love of like just crashing car like toys and stuff.
Right.
But I don't think it's gonna be like as fun as I want it to be on the board.
Yeah, I can see that. I think, like, looking through the legendaries, Rashmi was really the only one that excited me.
Yeah.
Because I think everything else is pretty, just sort of normal. Whereas this one at least was kind of a thing you hadn't seen a lot before in these colors, which is for like wanting you to play at Flash with Flash creatures a lot and then giving you a pretty big reward for it. So I like that. Big upside there.
I'm very excited to build a Gonti deck now that I've been through one.
Really?
I would like to try that out.
Gonti. It's the guy that when he comes in, you exile 4 cards, pick one, put it face down, and you can cast it from your opponent's deck. Right?
Yeah, you get a card off your opponent's deck, a really good one, and do something with it.
Seems good.
Seems good.
Seems fun. I like the ability. I like that thing. You never. There's other cards that do that, right? Like I remember Butler had one in his Phoenix deck, where it's like he just searches through your whole library, gets one, puts it face down, and you're like, what did he pick? You just have no idea. Did he pick one of my board wipes? Did he pick some massive creature? Like, what did he pick?
Because you don't get to look through.
You don't get to know until he casts it.
Yeah, or unless you were so smart, you like looked through your deck later with a search and knew what was missing.
That is one way to do it, but I mean that's pretty tough.
Oh boy.
Oh boy is right.
Can't wait for Kaladesh. Can't wait to draft it. Can't wait to open the masterpieces and sell them and buy whole commander decks for them.
Yeah, the masterpieces. We didn't talk about that on this episode because, but we should probably just because they're going to be big. That's a big thing. We're going to be able to open these basically expeditions, but artifacts.
Yeah.
With 5 duds for sure in them.
Yeah.
The what are they called?
The gear hulks.
The gear hulks are going to be included, and no one wants those as masterpieces.
I don't think so.
No one wants those. No one. Come on. But that's. I guess the current set is inspired it, so they might as well include something in there. They did it with the expeditions too. They included the Havelands in there.
That's right, they did. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So that's a precedent then. That's not new.
Yeah, there'll be whenever they do, which apparently they're doing for every set. I think now they said.
I hope so. That's a very exciting way to get reprints out there.
Well, you know what? It can't be every set because they did it in Battle for Zendikar, and then they didn't do it in Shadows over Innistrad. It's just I guess it's probably that they'll just do it more often, as opposed to once in a blue moon, like we maybe thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Before. Either way, I think it's all upside. A lot of people are against it. A lot of people don't like it.
What? Who?
Which just proves.
Give me names.
I don't know. Go on Twitter, you'll see. But it just proves that you can slide $50 bills in Magic cards, and Magic players will find a way to complain about it.
Yeah, man, you just opened a $50 bill.
Yeah, I just
don't complain.
I don't get it. It's bringing down the price of the set overall because more packs will be open.
Oh, that's amazing, though.
That's great,
right? That means more people can get into Standard in the new Standard environment, which is less overall cards. So you'll have to buy less. Like there'll be less options to buy. So you will want them to be lower.
Exactly.
That's great. Who is this bad? This is bad for the 3 people who are sitting on like 100 Crucible of Worlds, who never intend on selling them, who just want to imagine that their collection is worth even more money, and then their collection drops, and they're like, well, I wasn't ever going to sell it anyway, so now my imaginary thing I'm never going to sell is worth imaginary less. It's like...
Yeah, I guess it's taking... I guess it hurts the financiers the most.
But a financier is not a player of the game. I know you can be both.
You can be, right?
You can be both, but like the game comes first. The finance comes second.
There's a delicate balance to be struck, right? Because those players that are sitting on all those cards that, they're never going to sell, that's not great. Who cares if those people lose their collections?
Right.
Personally, I don't. But you don't want to hurt the stores too much with the same type of thing where like there's just no value there. The stores aren't making money off of it. But they will because they're selling the cards from the packs and running drafts and having tournaments and things like that.
Yeah, they're going to make a lot of money off of the cards.
I think it's fine. I think it's all a bit of a laugh, honestly.
It improves the health of the game. It gets more people playing the game. It gets people playing more formats. That only means they will be making more money. They will devote more resources to making this game even better. We win.
Well, there you have it. We win. We'll stop there.
So check out a Brew and Brawl this Sunday.
Yep.
3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the East Coast, North America time. Stay tuned for the Commander interview.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's the Commander's Brew Commander interview portion of the show where we interview a commander that was featured on the show. Sean couldn't actually be here today because he's actually out being fitted for wooden shoes. So that's very nice. I'm very excited to see them when he gets back. Instead, though, we have a brand new legendary creature to Magic, Dipala, Pilot Exemplar. Dipala, welcome to the show.
What ho, chum? Thanks for having me, Andy. Capital D-E-P-A-L-A. Dipala here.
That is okay. Yeah, that's how you spell. Sorry, I just don't where
down here. Not funny. Not funny. But I can take a laugh with the rest of them. It's a real regular knee slapper, Andy.
I actually couldn't see
funny.
you. You were behind the table there, so I just heard a disembodied voice. Not trying to make fun, I promise.
I hope not.
Dipala, welcome to Magic.
It is great to be here. Cracking good fun.
So you're a Pilot Exemplar.
Oh, an exemplary pilot.
Are you excited about the new vehicles? Talk about those for a bit. How is it to feel to bring the vehicles to Magic finally?
I think it's excellent. As we all know, these are Aether combustion engines. So I've prepared a slideshow on how an Aether combustion engine works.
Oh, that's okay. We don't have time for that, really?
I wish you told me so I wouldn't have prepared this, but that's okay. Let's tally forth, moving on with the interview.
Okay, yes, we will tally forth.
Okay.
What's your favorite vehicle to pilot?
Jumbo jets.
Oh, just regular old jumbo jets.
Yep.
Oh, wow, that's cool. There's none of those in the set, are there?
Oh, not yet. Wait till Aether Revolt.
Oh, and then there'll be a lot more regular passenger planes.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you a spoiler.
Okay. Wow, our first spoiler. Oh my God, Depala. This is great. Commander's Brew first spoiler
Here we
from
go.
Kaladesh from
Aether Revolt.
Aether Revolt.
This may or may not be real.
Okay, let's see.
Jumbo Jet. 5 mana for a 7/7 flying. Crew 6. You get to take all your creatures on it, tap them, move them across the ocean, and untap them.
Oh. Is the ocean going to be a new mechanic also?
Yeah, the ocean.
Oh,
Yeah, ocean
ocean.
goes. The ocean goes where the red zone used to be.
Okay, that's called an ocean.
Yeah, and when you attack, you have to have flying, or you can't. The whole game is moat.
The whole game is now moat.
The whole game is moat.
Well, I guess I better get myself a jumbo jet.
People keep mispronouncing it Aether Revolt. It's actually Aether Moat.
Aether Remote.
Aether Remote.
Remote.
Aether Remote.
But and then the word MOAT.
Chip. Yep.
Okay, great. DePaula, I got to say, you're a very positive person. I like having you on the show.
Oh, man, Kaladesh is the best.
Yeah.
How can you not be positive? The sun's always shining. The clouds are always in the air. There's always the hum of the engines at their oval chase.
Talk to us about being like the first dwarf to hit Magic in a long time. The dwarves are back.
It is an honor, Andy. Too long in Magic's history have the dwarves been pushed down to pre-8th edition borders.
Yes, there's a lot of those.
Too long have dwarves been relegated to dumb abilities and mostly land destruction and making 2-power creatures unblockable. But you'll notice, I do not want dwarves to be 2-power. I want them to be 3-power.
You really are empowering dwarves.
I am literally empowering dwarves.
Yeah, and
yes.
vehicles, yes.
Yes.
We
will go on those vehicles as if we were elves, as if we were humans, as if we were Aetherborn.
That's right. Wow, this is like a real turning point in, because like dwarves, like I'll tell you what I know about a dwarf. Here's what I know about a dwarf: short guy with a beard and a huge axe. What do you think? What do you say to that?
Offensive.
I didn't mean any offense. Just that's the stereotypical view of a dwarf.
Yeah, no, yeah, you can't say short guy about dwarves.
Oh, you can't say short guy?
I can say short guy about dwarves.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. I understand that.
Yeah, we prefer the term dwarves.
That's okay. Well, then maybe that's what I'll say.
And not all of us use axes, right? Same way,
Sure.
like how would you feel if I call you like tall guy fork user?
I mean, that does describe me. I'm not going to be super offended by that, although I'm not as tall as some people.
You're huge.
Well, I mean, compared to
Hey,
you.
what are you, like 6'50"?
No, 6'50".
I don't know. The height's that big. It doesn't make
What
sense
measurement
to me.
is used in Kaladesh that I look like I'm 650 of them?
Oh, well, the first number is feet, right?
6 feet.
6 feet and 50 centifeet.
Centifeet.
Yeah, we go. So on Kaladesh, it goes metric, and then one size bigger is imperial, and then one size bigger is metric again, and then one size bigger is imperial again. So like there's miles, and then within a mile is 1,000 meters.
Utterly confusing.
Oh, yes, very.
Very, very confusing.
Very confusing.
But exciting to hear that, and hopefully we get more into the measurement systems of Kaladesh in Aether Revolt.
Ripperoo! Let's go!
Okay, let's go. Okay, well, DePaula, thanks so much for being here. This was a lot of fun. And is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, don't idle your engines.
Don't idle your engines, everyone. Don't waste your Aether. From me and DePaula, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Chip, chip. If you want to contact us, you can do so on Twitter at Commanders Brew. Individually, we are
At Andy Hellbone.
and I'm at Sean Tabaris. Or send us a Gmail, commandersbrew@gmail.com.
Also, you can check out all of our decks on tappedout.net/users/commandersbrew. And you can go to patreon.com if you'd like to donate and help support the show.
And if you want to check all this out in one place, go to commandersbrew.com for all this info.